Welcome to The Engaging Life, a podcast about using engagement equity to improve your relationship building skills in your personal and professional life. And now, here are your hosts, Brandon Suba and Angela Cheney.
Well, afternoon, Angela. How are you today?
Good afternoon, Brandon.
I was excited today. I have golf tees on my polo. Do you see that?
I didn't realize what they were.
They're golf tees.
Nice.
So I'm going to promote it now. If you want to see the golf tees, go to the YouTube channel at Pixelfire.
I think you said YouTube.
YouTube.
The YouTube.
The YouTube. That was funny. So we had a party over the weekend. Hocus Pocus 2 premiered.
Don't tell me how it is. We're going to have our party at the end of the month.
Okay, I won't say a word. I was going to say a word. So we had people over, and some of my friends are getting to the age where they are now calling it the Facebook or the YouTube or the Instagram.
I thought you were going to say the boob tube.
The boob tube.
I was like, that's bad.
Because they were tubes. Right? Where did the boob on boob tube come from?
I think it was the old timers thought that if you watched it, it turned you into a boob. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that one. I'm guessing that's what it is. I'll have to look it up. I'll report back next time.
That's right in lines with, I used to travel to South Dakota a lot, and I traveled with a guy that
was a boob.
No, kind of. He wasn't a fan of me, but he was very much a know-it-all, right?
Oh, fun.
And I gotta admit, the most of the time he was right, and I was generally wrong.
Doesn't make it any better.
But the Badlands, okay, and he was from the area. So it's the Badlands, and I know why they're Badlands. Do you know why the Badlands are called the Badlands?
I do not.
So it's in...
Is it the Old West?
Well, it is, but you can't grow anything in it because it washes out, and it's hard surface, so you can't... So there's just bad land to grow stuff.
Okay.
Well, he corrected me one time, and he goes, no, it's because all the bad guys used to go there after gunslinging and robbing banks and stuff. And I'm thinking to myself... Historically, I don't think anybody would be like, oh, bad guys go here. Let's call it the Badlands. Wouldn't it be the bad guys' lands? Anyways, so that's just, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you know.
It doesn't.
You can Google that. Anyways.
You can shut your trap.
So check out the YouTube channel to see the golf tees.
Channel.
The Ubatuba channel. Subatuba. All right. Hey, Angela, guess what we're talking about today?
I don't have a clue.
I bet you can say it's one of my favorite topics. It starts with
vodka.
Okay, well that's a favorite drink, not necessarily a topic that I talk about often. Referrals, and we've been talking a lot about groups, like the referral groups, how you can get something out of them, the differences, all that good stuff. So I thought we would continue on that train. Because a common thing that I then dealt with when I was working with a lot of people in referral groups was people would say, I'm not getting any referrals.
Okay.
And I think this is common because I have actually met people that are in referral organizations and they aren't in it for the business. Isn't that nuts?
Terribly nuts.
Like you would think, why waste your time, money, and effort if you're not going to get any business out of it? The relationships are a big piece.
Right.
Because, networking is all about relationships, right?
Is it?
It is. So when I would hear this, I really thought, and I had my first year, I didn't get any referrals, although that was more my fault, I feel.
Could be.
And not necessarily the things that we're going to go over today, but so I changed what I was saying, and I had more opportunities that I was saying. It's not like the referrals blew up, like some of the cool stories I've heard in the past, but that's, so some things that I changed. But it's a common thing. And the problem is there are things that people are doing and they don't realize it.
Okay.
And you're not going to fix something that you don't realize you're doing, right?
Right.
Okay. So I wrote out a list, and then don't worry, everybody, because I know you're thinking this. We will talk about how to ask for a referral after this.
Fantastic.
So hopefully kind of balance out the yin and the yang here. Okay, so the first one, why are you not getting any referrals? Well, I paid to be in this group, and I should be getting referrals. Anybody ever?
Expectations.
Yep. Have you ever heard that?
Of course I've heard
Anybody?
that.
Not even.
Why am I paying X number of dollars a year when I'm not getting anything out of it?
Didn't I share the story about the hairdresser that got up and left? Like she literally said within her angry weekly presentation, and I spent all this money and I haven't received a penny back because she was promised, your investment, you'll get it back, especially as a hairstylist, no
Right.
problem. So that's where, when you have the mindset of if you paid to be in a group and you are just expecting referrals, bad news, that's you.
Correct.
That's you. You're not taking advantage of the activities, of the relationships, of the communication. I said activities.
Or
attendance.
it could just be, I mean, if you're an angry person or if you're somebody people don't want to do business with.
Yes. And that is on the list of how to ask for a referral, how to get a referral, because credibility is huge.
Absolutely. And also, just because you're in a group doesn't mean your services fit, or there's something about what you're doing or something about how you're doing business that your reputation's bad. And I mean, there's so many things that can go into it. And what I hate about that first one is it's the expectation and it's completely not taking a look at yourself, not taking any ownership of the it's just like, it's got to be somebody else's problem. I paid the money.
Yes.
I hate that. Yeah.
So when you're buying, and that's basically like you're buying referrals. Okay, think about in your past history, because you have a good history of professions. Were you ever in a situation where you bought leads?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And were they good?
We did get a couple good ones.
A couple.
For the most part, no.
Okay. So in my opinion, when you join a group and your mindset is, I paid to be in this group, so I should get referrals, it's like you're paying for leads.
Like you're paying for, and that's, we've tried it a couple times here at Pixel Fire, the lead generation services where they hook you up with people who have actively, and we took like the couple free ones they gave us, and one time it turned into something, but that was kind of an early test. And once you realize, once you really build your business and have a good reputation and have your brand, those things don't work anymore because they're just matching with whoever. There's no qualification. There's no warmness. There's no, it's a bad way to build your business, that's for sure.
And to me, it's like, what qualifies you as a lead? I checked a couple boxes on a website, and now my name was sold to 10 different people.
Right.
So if you're investing into a group, it is not just the financial. It is the time and the effort, and that will directly correlate with the results that you're going to get out of the group. Okay.
Correct.
Next one. And I have fallen out of this category a few times, being the king or queen of networking.
Okay.
I have been in a few situations where I have talked to people that I know go to every single event. I see them everywhere I go, and they don't get diddly squat for referrals.
I know some of those as well. Okay.
Let me start with you then. What advice would you give them if they were sitting and crying to you, I do all this networking, I go to all the things, but I don't get any results? What would be kind of your first? A couple of the
things. Number one, you have to do quality versus quantity. And those are the types of people that just because I show my face at everything, I should be getting something out of every single thing I show my face at. So that would be my first piece of advice. The other one is if I see somebody at everything, I think that they're giving business to all these other people. So why do I just want to get in line and be one of the many? It's kind of like that. And I have had friends like this, or started to think I wanted to develop a friendship with somebody like this, whose social calendar is booked out for the next 6 months. And maybe they can fit. It's like, why do I want to be just one of dozens and dozens of friends you have? It's like you're just collecting them. Yeah. There's no depth to it. There's no relationship building to it. And you're not unique. You're not special. And I think everybody wants to be special.
That's true.
I mean, that's human nature. You want to think that you treat me the way you do because you like me as a person, and not just because I'm, one of the many chicks that you record podcasts with.
That number has dwindled tremendously since I got married. You're the only one that keeps coming over.
Podcasting. I just won't quit.
So I like both of those because it opens up kind of the inside of you're running on a hamster wheel, and of course you're not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
A lot of times what I would tell people in this situation is, well, what kind of relationships are you getting out of it? What are you doing after you go to these events? Because I think a lot of people in the VCP process, they think visibility will take them much further than credibility. And for me, when I said this I fall into this category, and you can do this too. I can go to almost any networking event with any organization within Omaha, and I'll know a few people there.
Yeah.
Like it's just naturally going to happen. but it doesn't mean that I do business with those people or they do business or
Right.
they give me referrals.
Right.
And so what I noticed was, yes, I am attending these things. I am taking the actions, but I'm not getting the results. So what I started doing was cutting back on how much activity I did, but I would actually do the things I recommended. So I would collect 3 cards, follow up on those cards, and set up coffee. And mind you, that is after you've vetted that it's worth your time
Right.
beyond that, right? Like if I'm talking to a guy that repairs washing machines, probably not somebody that I need to go meet with now. If I ever need your services, great. But I can't say I'd have a washing machine fixing referral in the last 10 years.
Right.
And if I would, it was random. So I started vetting. And then what was worth my while, I would set up that appointment afterwards. And that's when that credibility, that's when the relationship would happen. So for those of you that are leaning on the activity of, I go to every open house, every ribbon cutting, all of that, that's great. You should probably sign up to be an ambassador with whatever organization you're going to all these with. But chances are you're not getting in depth enough of a relationship for that credibility to happen to boom, now you're getting referrals.
Yep.
Plus, shocker alert, you are probably one of the 7 in your profession that these other people have met.
Exactly.
So let's see. 3 question you spend no time to perfect. I should probably explain.
Was that a sentence?
This is my these are my notes.
These just words that go together.
So when I am networking, I have questions that I have set up. I don't know the answers, but I generally know the answers, and it will lead to a better conversation. And this is in open networking, at closed contact events. This is at networking events, all of those. So you ready? You want to
I'm ready.
Role playing here?
Let's do
Okay.
it.
So we're at a networking event. Hey, I'm Brandon. What's your name?
Angela.
And I always do a little singing before I meet people, by the way. Angela, what's your business?
Online marketing.
Which, by the way, I was told I should change that because somebody once said Nunya. And I'm like, that's cute.
Was he 15?
No.
Okay.
Sadly, no. All right. So you're in marketing. That's great. How'd you get into that?
Ugh, I hate that question.
Why?
Because it's so long.
That's fine. That's fine. Because you know what I normally deal with?
What?
Yes and no's.
Okay. Well, let me tell you, Brandon. I used to work at a business magazine, and then I met Dan, and he wanted to start a business, and we decided to go for it.
Oh, great. That's funny. So what'd you do before then?
I just told you that I was with a business magazine.
See, you got to kind of read into it. So straight out of college there, you just jumped right into the business magazine,
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, that's really fancy. So, okay, obviously role playing with Angie is always fun. But these are questions that I've organized because I got sick of so what's your name? Brandon. Cool. What do you do? Sell countertops. Cool. How long have you been doing that? 2 years.
Okay.
Like it's just the one-up. So I tried to create, yes, that could be a very long story.
So you came up with questions, open-ended questions.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And I practiced some, and I know that sounds dumb, but when I accepted the concept of be more interested than interesting.
Ooh, and we're going to talk about that in next episode.
Ooh, dang. That's like truly my favorite topic. But when I finally committed to that, I realized even when I thought I was being more interested, I was still talking way too much because I was filling in the gap of silence.
Okay.
Because I can't handle.
You weren't landing the plane.
I was not landing. No, I was flying that baby all around. They had to come and refuel it in the air. It was nuts. It was nuts. So prepare yourself with 4 or 5 questions that lead to 2 things. 1, a conversation that lasts more than a minute, and that is somewhat interesting because once again, if you're trying to be more interested and it's not interesting, it's really, really hard. And then the other one is it might lead to a conversation where you can talk about your business too. All right. So number 4, going to the same event with the same people.
Those are some of those groups that just turn into the social.
Yep.
And it's a waste of time.
Yes.
Because if I just want to go be social with someone, that's, if that's the goal of it, that's different.
Right.
But if it's a networking group and everybody's just chit-chatting and it's all the same people, nothing's going to happen.
Well, and I even see like organized groups fall into this, and it's because what I was thinking is the same event. But like I've seen networking groups get into this.
Oh, absolutely. It turns into a social.
Yes. And then they complain, well, we want new people. Thanks for joining us today. You want to be part of this? And I'm like, actually, I felt uncomfortable for the last 30 minutes of you all with your inside jokes. So no, probably not.
Why would I want? Yeah.
But it's a comfort zone.
Oh, absolutely.
And activity versus results, people are like, oh yeah, no, I go to this group every week, and I used to get tons of business out of it, but now I don't see much. Well, yeah, because it's the same people,
Right.
and
You've already given each other all your own, all your business. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, number 5, not following up, and I think I talked about that a little earlier. So you're doing all these things, but you're not getting referrals. Well, are you really following up? And I remember when we used to do big visitor day events, we would do, what was it? It was card. Gosh, there was a name for it, but I can't remember what it was. But basically, you had 5 minutes to pass your cards around, right? And you tried to collect as many as you could. And then the challenge was follow up with 2, 3, 4 of these people so that you can benefit. I can tell you I never did it. I told people to do it. I never did it. I guarantee you 95% of the people in that group are not going to do it. And the 5% that do, they probably sell a product that is very common. They have a lot of competition.
Right.
So there is key to follow up, but if you're not doing any follow up whatsoever, you really can't expect results because once again, you're focused on that one activity. I went to this business and bagels this morning and I go every week and I'm not getting anything.
Yeah.
And that's just because you're not doing anything afterwards. And then number 6, not being specific.
Oh, yeah. If you try to sell to everyone, you're selling to no one.
That's right. And I feel like I shared this story too, so I'm going to keep it short. But I was at a networking event and I got in with like 5 people and then we kind of broke apart and there was one lady I was talking to. We went deeper. And so finally I said, so what is a good referral for you? And she looks at me and she goes, have you not listened to anything I've said? Everyone is a good referral for me. And that's when I thought to myself, okay, chances are you're not getting referrals. Like you're going to these events, but you're probably not seeing the results. And what it is, because you're not specific. So I know it sounds crazy, but this is the time. At a networking event, you may never talk to this person again. They may never do anything for you. Why not throw it out there?
Yeah.
What do you have to lose minus this small chit chat? Now, make your deposits first.
Right.
Engage, gain a little credibility. But then at that point, if you have the opportunity, if someone says, how can I help you? I use that question a lot. And I get a lot of different answers. For me, I will have specifics. Like if I've talked to somebody and they're in insurance, I'll be like, okay, well, to be honest with you, doctors. Like if you have doctors in your portfolio and you have a good connection with them, that is how you can help me. I would love an introduction. Maybe we can all grab coffee sometime.
Yep.
And if you have that specific going into it, it's kind of like the questions. Be prepared. And it should change. It should always be changing. When you, and this is more networking groups than events, but when you have the person that stands up and asks for the same thing every week.
Oh, yeah.
I had a plumber in a group one time and he stood up and he would say, you all know what plumbers do. That's what I'm looking for. And he'd sit back down.
Number 1, that's lazy.
So lazy and lame.
It's lazy. It's lame. It's also assumptive. It's all the bad. It's all the bad things.
It is. It is.
And you need to activate people's minds. You need to activate their center of their brain where they know people, and you need specifics to do that. Because I'm a plumber, you know what I do? Well, I can't think of anything that but if he said, I'm looking for people who have just moved into a new house in this area of town because their water quality is really bad, and I'd love to do a free test for them.
Boom.
Oh my God, I know 2 people who just moved into that part of town. Yeah.
Yep. So, and you can use that at networking events. You can use that to get the referrals and don't have a scarcity mindset. Because I think that's why people really back off of being specific. Because they're like, well, then I'm limiting myself.
Right. Okay. And that's not true.
No. And to me, that's when, if you have a scarcity mindset, that's when you all know what a plumber does. Don't say it, but yeah, we do.
Right.
But then have something specific. Have a really cool opportunity that could be now. Because even if you said, when you know somebody that has a backed up toilet, okay, well, that's pretty dang specific.
Right.
And I'll tell you right now, if my toilet backed up, I'm not going to call Angie and be like, hey, how's your day going? Oh, I got a backed up toilet over here. Oh, Brandon, let me give you a referral. So it has to be realistic referrals. And that's probably what I learned the most in the countertop world is I was generic. I was like, I'm looking for anybody that's looking to remodel their bathroom. When you can be more specific, I'm looking for homes in this area of town because they are getting to that 30, 50-year-old. They financially, the people that own these houses can afford the upgrades. That's a great referral for me.
And what else? The other thing I don't like about what that plumber did is not all plumbers do the same thing.
That's very true.
Some don't like to just go unclog toilets.
Yep.
They want to do full build out systems, while others, I hate mixing the metaphors of unclogging your toilet and bread and butter because gross. But that's what
go
they
hand
do
in
is
hand.
the little jobs. They like that.
Yep.
So anyone who gets up there and says, I'm in this industry, everybody knows what that is.
No,
It's not even true.
now I'll give a little caveat to it. This was a owner that bought the seat and then sent someone.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yep.
I mean, that person wasn't
He was,
committed
he was probably a 25-year-old plumber.
and hated being at a 7 a.m. meeting. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh, yeah.
Because I do believe that extreme things happen, but it blows my mind how often extreme situations happen specifically on, let's say, a Tuesday at 7 a.m. and consistently almost every week. I'm like, yeah, I bet you consistently go to the bar on Monday night and don't want to get up.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about things that might be holding you back. I want you to self-search here because, like I said, you may not realize you're doing these things, or maybe maybe you are the networking king or queen and you're frustrated. Hopefully, we gave you a little bit that you can relax a little and just work a little smarter.
Yes.
Not harder.
Not harder.
So here's a couple tips on how to ask for a referral. So number one, we talked about the questions that need to be answered. When you create questions, it can lead to a conversation that then you can open up what you talk about.
Sure.
It's not going to work every time. If they're super generic, your return rate might be lower.
Sure.
But as you get to know more industries or as you get to know your referral sources better, that's when you want to formulate the questions and look for them then at events. So I like to make a goal of I like to meet at least 3 real estate agents at every event I go to.
Okay, good.
It's relatively easy because I'm generally at stuff that real estate agents are at. But that way I have questions specifically on those lines. They're very similar, but they're going to kind of lead to the ultimate question of, do you have this product? Do you have someone that offers this product? Because mine's amazing. Number 2, don't be scared to ask for what you really want. I use this a lot, not just in if you're not getting referrals, although usually this comes up when people say I'm not getting referrals. The financial planner that's been in a group for 7 years, never gotten one good referral. Have you ever asked for $1 million client? It's the first question I ask them. And they would look at me and be like, no. I'm like, why not? Now, don't ask for Willie Thiessen or who's the real rich guy here?
There's only
Warren
one.
Buffett. Yeah, no kidding. Warren Buffett.
Really
Like,
rich guy.
It was funny coming from Omaha and traveling. I would have people in like South Dakota, Wyoming, be like, well, could you introduce me to Warren Buffett? I'm like, no, I can't. I've never seen the guy.
Yes, I did his countertop.
I didn't. I'm not that cool. But the whole point of the financial advisor was, if you're not going to get it anyways, what's it going to hurt if you go for
Right, why not
the
just ask?
ultimate?
So in 7 years you haven't gotten anything? Why not?
Yeah, absolutely.
Go 7 years, 1 week.
Next one. Do your research. This eliminates asking for anybody, because when you ask for anybody, you get
nobody.
And my whole theory on that is you're literally asking me to convert a prospect into a referral, and then bring them to you.
Or you're getting people, but they're not the people you want.
Oh, that's true too. Well, gosh, sometimes that even is better than what I get from time to time. But do your research. So if they're that $1 million client, find names in your area that those people fall under, and not the names that are in the newspaper, because everybody's after that.
Right.
You have to do your research and find the guy that started a lawn cutting business at the age of 16. He's 35 years old now and worth like $2 million.
Right.
Because, but he still wears ripped up jeans and a t-shirt.
Diamonds in the rough.
Dude, those are my favorite people to work with.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're down to earth.
Oh, they're fantastic.
They get it, and they don't complain about everything. Oh, they can. Okay. Number 4, give referrals. We've talked about this theory. Angela debunks this theory very, very well. It's not a tit for tat.
Nope.
It's not a tit for tat. And gosh, I used this on somebody the other
Giver's
day.
gain is the theory he's talking about, which makes it seem like I give, so I should gain.
Yep.
I gave.
It really is. You have to give without expectation.
Right.
Give without expectation. And that's when you will see the results.
Because some people it's I give, then I gain. Some people it's I give, then I gain.
Mm-hmm.
And some people it's I gain, then I give. I mean, it's, yeah.
Yeah. So if you, and we've talked about this, if you put an expectation on when you give referrals, you're probably not going to get anything back.
You're not giving to give,
right?
You're giving to receive.
And most of the time it is not from the person you gave the referral to. It's from another person. Number 5, make connections. And when you make the connections, you really need to vet if they're worth your time or not. And I don't want to be mean about that. I don't mean that in a mean concept.
Right.
But there are just people that I know in the networking world that I will never have coffee with because I know it's not worth my time now.
Right. They're checking a box.
Yep.
Or want to talk about themselves or
Yep.
And
Or-
it's absolutely fine to avoid those people. It's not mean. It's
No.
protecting your time.
Which is very valuable. And
Yes.
another thing too is if you have the mindset of, and I think this happens in marketing a ton, everybody's a possible client for me. Okay, that may be true on a very, very broad sense, but trust me when I say you don't want to work with everyone.
Right.
And the more specific you can be, the more connections you have, quantity, the more quality you can find. I've been using that a lot lately because visitor season's coming.
Oh,
It's coming.
it's
Common. And then the last one is build credibility. And this is where engagement equity, I think, has taught me the most is you can't always build your credibility or make deposits in a very short period of time.
Correct.
Some you can. Sometimes if it's sistering? No, not sistering.
Mirroring?
Not mirroring. No, industries
What
that
do
work
you-
together is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, okay.
Sistering? Other
Sister companies.
sister companies? I don't know. If it's a referral opportunity where you need their services or they need yours, vice versa, the credibility doesn't have to be as strong.
Right.
You just have to not suck. It's kind of what it comes down to.
Tip number 7, don't suck.
Don't suck. Is that number 7? We'll put that on there. But that's where when you make the deposits, it's going to be different for everyone.
Mhm.
And you need to realize that. And the more industries, going back to the connections, the more industries you work with, or the more people in these same industries you work with, the more you're going to learn, yeah, I do have to put a lot of focus on this industry to get what I want versus over here. No, if I
Just easy.
basically
Yeah.
show up, I am good to go. So hopefully that gives you opportunities to shift the way that you are looking for referrals, actively pursuing those referrals, and then what you're doing ahead of time and after you have those connections. So that's all I got. Any last little dibby dabbit you want to throw
I
in?
don't think so. I think you dibby dabbed it all.
Dibby dabbit. That's not even an inside joke. I just chose to use that.
It is now.
Okay. Dibby dabbit. All right. So for everybody out there, we love reviews. Did you like reviews?
I like 5-star reviews.
No, I like 5-star reviews too, but we'll take whatever you want. If you put something in the comments, we will see that. We will address it.
Maybe.
And if you've put something in the comments and we haven't addressed it, please put something in the comments that we haven't addressed it. And we may not address it again. Or maybe we will.
Some circular logic there.
There you go. And if you want to see my sweet golf tee polo, go to the YouTube.
Go to the YouTube.
channel, Pixel Fire Marketing, and you can see the Engaging Life podcast there. Other than that, we look forward to talking to you on the next podcast.